What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. Be a part of the biggest daily baseball show on YouTube. And now, without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Jose Barrios, who had this front door two-seamer and this nasty slurve on his way to 7 strikeouts, but he did give up 8 earned runs. I love Barrios' stuff, just don't love those results. He was up against Brady Singer, who had 3 Ks thanks to this enlarged strike zone, his sinkers, and this dirty slider. Carlos Carrasco had these dirty split changes. And here's an overlay of a split change and slider, and you can see the different movement of those two, and why when he's on, it could be a deadly combination. Unfortunately, Carrasco wasn't totally on and gave up 5 earned runs in 4 innings. He was up against Freddie Peralta, who was dominant, went 6 scoreless innings with 7 strikeouts, giving up only 2 hits. He had these heaters, his curveball, and this 6 slider that broke 16 inches. Michael Kopech had this fastball and changeup. He had 5 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, but gave up 7 earned runs. If you're sensing a theme here, you're not alone, which is why at the end of my filthiest pitches of the day, I'm going to let Will Leahey, my producer, do a hitting segment. Yes, I've kind of made a deal with the devil here, but let's see how this works out. If you like Will's segment, let him know in the comments. Kopech was up against Anthony DeSclafani, who pitched great, going 6 innings with 4 Ks and no runs. He had these elevated two-seamers and this slider. Ryan Feltner had these fastballs, and check out the movement on them. He had 7 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, but he did give up 5 runs. He faced off against Michael Grove, who had these nasty sliders, including this Expelliarmus slider.
Expelliarmus!
Hunter Brown had 5 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, and had these absolute hammers. And he broke out his split change, which looks like it might be a really good pitch for him. He was up against Matthew Boyd, who had these nasty sliders on his way to 3 Ks in 4 1/3 innings. 2 of the best young pitchers in the game, George Kirby and Reid Detmers, faced off against each other. Kirby, who's one of my favorite young pitchers, had 5 Ks in 4 1/3 innings, but gave up 4 runs. He did have these overpowering heaters. Reid Detmers had 7 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings, thanks to these vicious sliders and absolutely gorgeous curveballs. Look at that curveball from a home plate view. It's unhittable, but mostly because you don't want to hit something that pretty. You just want to stand there and stare at it. You might remember that Reid Detmers is a former Pitching Ninja Award winner for his curveball in 2020. This was back when he was in college, so it just shows it pays to pay attention to these videos, because you may see the next budding young star before they were famous. And it can help with your fantasy team. Yet another reason to hit that subscribe button. Here's an overlay of Reid Detmers' slider, which kind of slipped, so it was elevated with his curveball. And you can see why, as a hitter, you might give up on that curveball, because it looks just like that slider that was way out of the zone. But that curveball breaks back down and is a strike. Tyler Mahle had 7 Ks in 5 innings, giving up only 1 run, thanks mostly to his sliders. He got a sword on his slider, and had this absolutely painted one. He also had an overpowering fastball going. Ryan Weathers had this nasty slider. Nestor Cortes had 3 Ks in 5 innings, giving up only 1 run. His fastball was up to 94 miles an hour. But perhaps the highlight of the game was this heads-up play by Nestor. My man's always playing 3-dimensional chess. Jon Gray had these nasty sliders, racking up a couple of swords. He had 7 Ks in 6 1/3 innings, giving up only 2 earned runs. Kyle Bradish had these sliders, but also got hit in his leg with this comebacker and had to leave the game. Initial x-rays were negative, so that's good news. My filthiest starter of the day yesterday was Drew Rasmussen, who was absolutely disgusting. He had 7 Ks in 6 innings, giving up only 2 hits and no runs. And looking at his stuff, you can see why. Rasmussen is another one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball. Now on to my filthiest relievers. Luis Guillorme pitched and got a few strikes. Hanser Alberto actually got a K on this 69-mile-an-hour pitch. You can see how StatCast called it a changeup, but I think they were just stroking Hanser's ego with that. Phil Bickford had these fastballs. James Karinchak had these fastballs and didn't lose his mind. Tim Herron, who I should have featured yesterday with his 4 strikeouts, had these wicked sliders. Nick Anderson had 4 Ks in relief. David Bednar had these wipeout curveballs. Jordan Hicks, who hasn't been very good this year, had this bowling ball 101 mile an hour sinker. Zay Curry had this filthy pitch clock violation. Yes, we'll score that one, a K lying on its back. And check out Zay Curry's K strut. Pure emotion. Almost like when he was back at Georgia Tech. He actually wasn't dancing to Baby Shark. It was Hit the Road Jack, but I thought that would be funny. Clay Holmes had these wicked sweepers. Jonathan Loizaga had this sick 2-seamer movement. These ran up to 18 inches. Felix Bautista had these mean splitters. Of course, these would look meaner if the camera wasn't positioned on Venus. The Rangers really need to change their camera angle. It takes away all the depth of pitches. Brent Honeywell had this sick changeup and sword. Absolutely filthy. And my filthiest pitch from a reliever yesterday was this slider from Zach Pop. He nearly got the nutmeg. Coincidentally, pop is also the sound that Massey's knee ligaments made on this. And now, as promised, here is Will Leahey with some hitting highlights.
Ninja, it is truly an honor to be back on the Filthiest Pitches of the Day after being suspended for the 2022 season. The show needs a little more hitting, and I figured no better way to honor the other side of the ball than to bring back all hitters' favorite segment. That's right, Ninja. I'm going to start it off here with a really easy transition for you for a pitcher here that happens to hit the president of the Pitchers Who Rake Club, Shohei Ohtani, with this smack. Next, we got Austin Riley. Look at the pop off the bat on this. 477 feet, I believe. Just an out-of-control dong. Next, we got Adam Duvall on the Red Sox. And if you know anything about me, which just about nobody does, I'm a Red Sox fan, and Duvall makes the Orioles pay here after just a hideous mishap in the outfield. Directly next batter, Duvall hits a walk-off dong, the best kind. Which brings us to the long dong of the week, which goes to the artist formerly known as Mike Stanton. The king of exit velo himself absolutely punishes this ball. And that's your dong of the week.
And now, the Pitching Ninja moment of zen. It's Ichiro and Shohei. What wholesome content.
Guys, a couple of MVP award winners just getting reacquainted.
At least this time, Ichiro didn't run away from Shohei. What is up, everybody? My picks of the day today are a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to start out with Hayden Wisniewski for 5 Ks or more, then take Yu Darvish for 6 Ks or more, and top it off with Framber Valdez for 7 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?